The fields of Turkey were suddenly under fierce attack by a herd of wild hogs, devastating 2 farms in a row. Thomas's hunting team was hired for 5 days to wipe out these monsters, but this isn't an easy hunt. These wild hogs are cunning, with keen noses that allow them to vanish before hunters and dogs can get close. Thomas had to bring along the most advanced gear to quickly track their trails and cut down the time needed to eliminate them. As the sun just began to rise, the hunt officially kicked off. At 5 a.m., wheels roared as they raced straight to the pre-planned location. Thomas's first stroke of luck came early. From a distance, the silhouette of a wild hog hiding in the tall grass couldn't escape his sharp gaze. Quick footsteps closed in, pistol loaded and ready. With one decisive shot, the beast fell right before Thomas's pistol barrel. The first victory was marked, but Thomas didn't forget the mission. He pressed on toward the designated spot. It didn't take long before Thomas settled into position, waiting for the beast to appear. Just minutes later, a shadow cautiously moved through the underbrush, searching for food. Every motion from chambering the round to squeezing the trigger was executed with precision. The cold crack of the shot rang out just as the beast collapsed. One threat eliminated flawlessly, with no margin for error. After tracking the remaining signs, the baying of hunting dogs echoed, signaling the wild hog's location. Thomas moved swiftly through dense foliage. Ahead was a chaotic scene, not one, but 3 hogs tightly surrounded by the pack of dogs. As one beast charged forward, a rapid volley of shots was unleashed. One by one, they fell, ending the fierce battle and saving the area from the devastation of these wild beasts. After a tough morning, the results were well worth the effort. But Thomas's team wasn't done yet. A strategy meeting took place to plan the afternoon hunt. With seamless coordination, a new formation was set up on the slopes of Anatolia. In no time, a shadow came charging wildly. A rapid series of shots flew out, cutting off its escape route. On the eastern hillside, an unplanned but smooth teamwork unfolded between the hunters and the dogs. The dogs pushed the prey right toward the waiting hunters lying in ambush. Each move seemed almost pre-programmed, but it was all hard-earned experience from countless real hunts. A series of skillful shots rang out, ending another threat to this land. Do you think their teamwork looks tight? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As the evening sun faded, the team began packing up to head back to base. Before they could even stow their guns, a target appeared right in Thomas's scope. One cold shot rang out, ending all plans of the lead boar. Another didn't get far before falling to the rifle of a fellow hunter. On the very first day, Thomas's team took down quite a few wild hogs, bringing temporary peace to the farm. But the battle is far from over. The team needs to rest and prepare for the next hunt until the farm is completely free from the devastation caused by these beasts. Danger lurks. Brutal wild boar hunt. The once fertile, lush land now bears only the scars of devastation caused by wild boars. They have mercilessly ravaged this place, leaving lasting trauma for the locals and causing millions of dollars in damage. Will these monstrous beasts be eradicated? Can the hunters stop them in time before it's too late? Follow along for the thrilling hunt scenes coming up next. On the rich, fertile soil of Picardy, a pack of ferocious beasts was stealthily wreaking havoc on everything in sight. As soon as the report came in, John's team was on the scene early, swiftly moving into ambush positions, ready and waiting. Before long, one member spotted a wild boar quietly rummaging for food in the verdant meadow, oblivious to the eyes watching its every step. He quickly readied his rifle, took precise aim, and fired. The bullet hit its mark, and the beast dropped instantly, unaware of its fate. With one clean, accurate shot, the rampage of this savage creature was decisively stopped. At the same moment, in another part of the field, a wild boar dashed across Jack's line of sight. It drew closer and closer to his aim. Seizing the moment, he swiftly fired, bringing down the prey. The bullet struck, and the boar collapsed before it could escape. Another threat was eliminated. A perfectly orchestrated ambush was unfolding at the edge of the field, where the savage beasts often hid when spotted. This time, John was tasked with holding the choke point, determined to let none escape. It wasn't long before his teammate's signal rang out. A wild boar appeared, charging swiftly through John's line of sight. Almost simultaneously, the crack of his rifle echoed with precision. Each shot felled a beast, none able to flee. That shot not only took down the marauder, but also saved the crops, restoring peace to the fertile fields of Picardy. In the towering grass, a sudden counterattack by a wild boar made our hearts race. This hunt belonged to Thomas's team. They were already on the scene, tracking the faint traces left by the wild beasts. A rustling sound broke the silence, and Thomas swiftly turned toward the noise. A wild boar emerged from the dense undergrowth. Without warning, it charged, aiming to attack Thomas. A gunshot rang out instantly, halting the beast's dangerous assault. One must admire Thomas's composure. Had he hesitated for even a second, the one lying in the grass might not have been the boar. At the same moment, Thomas's teammates swiftly spotted a target in the deep grass within the nearby forest. The wild boar moved sluggishly, concealed among the thick blades, but it couldn't evade the hunter's scope. Taking position, he selected the perfect angle for the shot. The bullet was fired, and the boar collapsed onto the green grass. Another threat neutralized, another location secured. Thickets and fields have borne witness to heart-stopping trigger pulls. Did you know that wild boars in Australia have become a serious menace? In New South Wales alone, their population has skyrocketed to 6 million, causing tens of millions of dollars in damage every year. It's a staggering figure that's forced the government to act fast, mobilizing hunting teams to plunge deep into the heart of the crisis to stop these destructive beasts. Can they reclaim the land from this growing threat? Join us for the thrilling hunt that follows and witness the battle unfold firsthand. At the crack of dawn in the New South Wales fields, John's hunting team roared down the road toward today's target zone. The truck's tires churned through dust and the fresh tracks etched into the field. Suddenly, an odd noise caught John and his crew's attention. In the distance, a wild boar bolted across the field in a frenzied sprint. The driver swerved, hot on the beast's trail, weaving with precision to close the gap and set John up for the shot. Locked and loaded, John took aim and fired with deadly accuracy as the boar entered his sights. The beast collapsed. Not the biggest prize, but the first trophy of the day. The team let out a collective sigh of relief after the heart-pounding chase. The truck barreled forward toward the next field, right on schedule. Upon arrival, the team swiftly took their ambush positions. It charged out from the field, but before it could reach the forest's edge, it crumpled under John's shot. A lightning-fast pinpoint strike that brought a little more peace to the field. With the sun climbing high, the sweltering heat thickened the air, but Leon held his ground in the heart of the field. His eyes scanned every movement, missing nothing. His patience paid off. A wild boar emerged from the corn rows, stepping right into his crosshairs. Giving it no chance to react, a shot rang out, leaving the beast lifeless on the field. One more step towards saving these fields from the claws of those monstrous invaders. Under the scorching midday sun, the team retreated to rest, gearing up for a fiercer hunt deep in the dense forest. By 4 p.m., they advanced to the boar's hideout, where the beasts were biding their time, ready to swarm down and ravage the crops. This time, the strategy shifted. The team split into small groups, moving into position to tighten the noose. Less than 10 minutes in, the first rustles echoed through the trees as a pack of wild boars slunk through the undergrowth. Shots rang out, each one timed with deadly precision. One by one, the boars fell, none escaping. A flawless ambush that put an end to the threat looming over this land. After pressing on for a bit, John paused to catch his breath, his eyes still scanning the surroundings. As expected, another boar slipped into view, right in his crosshairs. Raising his rifle, he took aim and fired at the perfect moment. One shot was all it took to drop the beast instantly. What do you think of that clean takedown? Drop a comment below and let us know. At the same moment, Jay held his position elsewhere, lying in wait with eyes sharply scanning the surroundings. It didn't take long before a shadowy figure crept into his sights, unaware of the ambush set in advance. With lightning-fast precision, Jay squeezed the trigger. The beast collapsed without a sound, without a fight.
Do you believe that without guns, we can still take down massive wild boars? With intelligence, strategy, and specialized tools, we have discovered an effective way to control this invasive species. From automatic traps and hunting dogs to innovative, traditional methods, we employ various techniques to ensure success. Join us on this thrilling and intense journey, where skill and experience determine the outcome. You'll be amazed by the unconventional yet highly effective hunting strategies we use. Wild boars are among the most voracious creatures in the wild. With an omnivorous diet and an insatiable hunger, they can consume up to 4 to 5 kilograms of food daily. Their menu includes roots, fruits, seeds, insects, frogs, small animals, and even carrion. More alarmingly, when food is scarce, they won't hesitate to attack livestock, poultry, and even human farmlands, devastating rice fields and fruit orchards. This is precisely why humans must find ways to control their population before the situation spirals out of control. Ever wondered how to take down these cunning invaders without using firearms? The answer lies in an ancient weapon, the bow and arrow, a tool that has been associated with great hunts since the dawn of time. No deafening gunshots, no lingering gunpowder, just the silent patience of hunters awaiting the perfect moment to strike. Today, we are using broadhead arrows with razor-sharp blades, designed for maximum penetration and a swift kill. 2010, not far away, a herd of wild boars emerges by a muddy pool. I carefully aim at one of them. Even after spotting it, I must not rush. Precision with a bow requires patience. My heartbeat echoes in my ears. The arrow flies through the air, striking true. The boar struggles to flee, but the fatal wound seals its fate. It collapses onto the ground, a perfect takedown, marking the beginning of an intense hunt. After a period of searching, We spot a herd of wild boars moving cautiously at the forest's edge. Without hesitation, my companion kneels, draws his bow, takes careful aim, and releases the arrow. It slices through the wind, but the cunning boar leaps into the underbrush, escaping by a hair's breadth. Determined not to let the prey slip away, we tighten our grips on our weapons and dive deeper into the chase. Arrows fly through the thick foliage, and this time, we do not allow the destructive beast to escape so easily. A few of them fall to our relentless pursuit. Our team presses deeper into new territory. Then, as if nature itself had gifted us an opportunity, a plump wild boar wanders into sight, obliviously foraging for food. A single sound is enough to startle it, freezing it in place for a split second before it bolts. But it's too late. My arrow flies like a lightning bolt, striking squarely. The creature writhes, letting out piercing cries that echo through the forest before collapsing into the lush grass. Venturing further, I stumble upon a group of nearly 10 boars gathered around a watering hole. A golden opportunity. Without hesitation, I draw my bow, aim precisely, and release. The arrow soars through the silent air, embedding itself into one of them. It tries to flee with the panicked herd, but its strength quickly wanes, and it crashes to the ground. By noon, the forest swelters under the scorching sun. We set up camp to rest, but keep our eyes fixed on the surroundings. Suddenly, a massive dark figure emerges from the distance, its heavy steps crushing dry leaves underfoot. A giant wild boar, lured by our bait, unknowingly walks into an invisible trap. A few more boars appear, but I remain focused on my main target. The bowstring is drawn tight, then released in a split second of fate. The arrow flies, piercing the massive beast body. The rest of the herd scatters in a frenzy, dust swirling in their wake. But the injured one cannot escape. Stumbling a few steps, it crashes to the ground, silent, motionless. As dusk settles, we spot another target. The first arrow misses, embedding itself into the earth, as if leaving behind an unfinished challenge. But this time, the unfortunate boar has no escape. The second arrow is loosed with unwavering determination, cutting through the air before striking true. The wind whistles past, then silence, before everything erupts in triumph. The unlucky boar breathes its last. As the hunt comes to a close, our sharp arrows, patience, and tactical prowess have led us to victory. The wilderness remains untouched, undisturbed by the echo of gunfire. Have you ever heard stories about hunting giant monsters with a bow and arrow? Well, that monster is none other than the fierce wild boars. They brazenly destroy our crops, uproot the forest soil, and cause great harm to our people. Today, we will enter a tough battle using bows and arrows to confront these dangerous invaders. At 4 p.m., we gathered at the edge of the forest to begin tracking the wild boars. We moved toward an automatic feed dispenser that had been set up earlier. We deliberately placed the device in a small puddle to increase its appeal to the wild boars. As predicted, the wild boars appeared, drawn by the strong scent. They busily picked up each piece of food, paying no attention to the lurking danger. From afar, I slowly raised my bow and drew the string. 3, 2, 1, shoot. The bowstring stretched to its limit. The steel-tipped arrow sliced through the air and struck the target. A perfect shot. The wild boar let out a single painful scream. However, it did not immediately fall, but instead panicked and charged forward. Still, we knew well, with that fatal wound, it would soon collapse. Unable to resist the enticing smell of the corn kernels, another herd of boars approached the feeding machine. Without rushing, I calmly took careful aim. After the wild boar had completely let down its guard, I quickly released the string, shooting an arrow toward the outermost boar. The arrow flew swiftly and struck one boar, bringing it down to the ground. A precise, clean shot, as if perfectly calculated in advance. In another spot, perched quietly on a tall stand in the forest, Henry watched a group of wild boars. They were busy searching for food, unaware that we had been waiting for them all along. The arrow flew and struck the boar, causing it to immediately flee. But we didn't chase right away, knowing the wound would soon bring it down. Deeper into the forest, we encountered a massive male boar. In a tense moment, another arrow was released, striking directly at the boar's vital spot. It staggered, took a few final steps, then collapsed onto the ground. The next afternoon, we continued the hunt. Following the tracks left on the ground, we discovered a strong wild boar weighing about 80 kilograms, casually digging for food. It was completely unaware of our presence. This was the chance. My friend's hand gripped the bow tightly. The bowstring was drawn taut, waiting for the perfect moment. Every tense second stretched endlessly. Shoot! And then, after those anxious moments, the final prey finally fell. We continued by choosing a tall tree trunk that both concealed our presence and provided an ideal vantage point for observation. In the puddle ahead, food had been spread out, acting as a perfect trap to lure greedy wild boars. Once everything was in place, all that remained was to wait for the right moment. I quietly raised my bow.
Stop.
Aiming directly at the strong boar in front. Drawing the string taut with full force, I released. A shot to the vital spot would bring it down soon enough. I drew the bowstring, locked my eyes on the target, then released. But no, I missed once again.
Shooting through the cactus.
There is no place for haste. Only patience, practice, and calmness lead to success. And I know I must try harder to win in the upcoming hunts. Thank you all for following this journey.